that is the connecting piece. But
Welcome to another episode of the Besties Building Brands podcast. We have a special guest this evening. We have Miss Tamisha Crowley. I'm excited to bring her on because, as you know, one of our initiatives is for the seniors in our community. We have a heart for our seniors, and so does she. She is a mother of 12, if I'm reading this correctly. So I'll let her explain that when she comes on. She's a certified nurse, medical assistant. She owns a transportation business called Personal Touch Transportation Services. And like I said, she has a passion for the elderly, and she believes in providing services for seniors that improves their well-being and also helps with door-to-door non-medical transportation for any physically challenged or special needs individual. So she's also a recording artist and an author. So she sounds like most of you guys watching us tonight. So I hope you guys get some inspiration and some motivation from her. So let's bring her on and welcome Miss Tamisha to the show. Yay!
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be on.
I'm glad to finally catch up with you.
Yes.
We kind of mixed up our times last time, so I'm glad you're here.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. Thank you.
So we always start with a quirky question, or we could do this or that, but I think I want to ask you a quirky question.
Okay.
So the question is, if you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, you get to pick 3 things, what would it be?
3 things?
Mm-hmm.
Catfish, shrimp, and chili.
Okay. No vegetables?
I'm not a vegetable eater. I should be, but no. I'm going to say I take that back. Gumbo. I love gumbo.
Okay. So we asked our guests to tell us a little bit about themselves so you can explain a little bit more. And I want to hear about how you're managing all these different hats with all those children.
Well, I am a mother of 3, and then I have 9 stepchildren.
Okay.
And my oldest she'll be 29 this month. I have a 22-year-old and I have a 10-year-old. Okay. My stepchildren are by my last husband, my son's father. But he passed away about 2.5 years ago. But when I married him, he had 7 children, but they were all grown at the time. And so now I have a host of grandbabies as well, but step grandchildren. None of my children have children. And then I was dating someone who had 2 little ones who I kind of adopted. Their mother gave them up. And when we were dating, I became instant mom. So kind of one of those situations.
Okay. Well, listen, it sounds like most of our situations. So I think that's admirable that you took on those kids. So how are you managing all these different hats with being a mom and a grandmom? What's your secret?
Well, I'm not gonna say the blessings. My stepchildren are all grown. They live in Dallas. They kind of have their own lives. And then my 10 years, just my 10-year-old that's here at home with me. And my oldest daughter, she lives alone. And then my 22-year-old, she lives in Dallas and she's working. So I'm kind of just managing me and my son at this time. So. Okay. So
that's pretty easy.
Yeah. So it helps. They're all grown, and then they help me out if I need be. But he's 10 going on 20. So hey, he's he manages to do for himself a little bit. But as far as the things that I've been doing lately are things that I've been trying to do for a long time. But life gets in the way. We do other things instead of doing what our passion is. And that's kind of what I did, put everything on the back burner for everybody else. And so now, as they say, it's my time, and so I've been working on me, for the last 2 years, I guess you can say.
That's interesting. I was just having a conversation about that, about how we always put everything before ourselves, whether it be children, spouses, relation. Yeah, you got to do these things first. And sometimes you got to be a little selfish.
Exactly.
focus on yourself, especially to get some things accomplished.
All right.
So I want to go back to just the beginning, like earlier in your life. Like, when did you always know you wanted to be a recording artist? Did you always know you wanted to be an author? How did those things come to pass?
Well, I've been singing since I was 6 years old. My dad's a deacon, and we grew up in church. So my mom was a secretary for the church when we were younger, and so I just started. They put me in the choir, and 6 years old, sung my first solo, and just kind of went on from there. And as I got older, I started. My mom put me in a lot of choirs and different events so I could travel and be in different group choirs, and then that led to me going to different competitions. And then I started, as I got older, I would start singing for weddings, and just different things came about. And of course, singing in the choir at church all the time. So I've always been singing. My dad's a singer. My dad and his brothers have a quartet. They've been singing for years. I have family members that all sing. So it's kind of goes, kind of in the family.
Singing family, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but as far as an author, no, that came about when, I'm going to say about 4 years ago when, I was married. I was married to a pastor. I was a first lady. We had our own church, and life took a toll on him, and he changed. I didn't see it coming. And when you don't see something coming, it takes a toll on you. So he ended up getting depressed. Life happened to him. He ended up going back to doing drugs and just a bunch of things that God delivered him from for years. And so when he went back to it, we were shocked, like, what happened? The first thing he said to me was, I was depressed. Well, depression can take you through a lot of things. And when you don't know how to handle them, it can take you for a loop, and the devil comes in and just kind of, gets you at your weakest moment. I think that's what happened to him. And he was a great husband, great father. Life just happened. And when that took a toll on me, from, we had just had our son. He was maybe 5 or 6. I gained a lot of weight with him. Well, I lost 50 pounds in 2 months. Dealing with that. So just stress, so that kind of motivated me, because I thought we had we lived that fairy tale. We had that fairy tale wedding where, chivalry still existed. My husband pulled out my chair. He opened my door. And so, like I said, we were at the top, and we pray, everything we prayed for, God gave us. And so I didn't know what happened. And so that is what kind of motivated me to write this book. Not only that, I've lost 2 of my kids' fathers. I've lost my oldest daughter. Father died when she was 2. So I've been through a lot, and so when that happened, I was like, okay, somebody needs to hear my story, because maybe somebody else is going through what I've went through or gone through, that maybe can help them.
Yeah, that's a couple of people have said that, everybody has a book in them. Everybody should at least write one book, even if you don't do it for the purposes of selling it, just to write it and get it out. It's therapeutic in that way.
Absolutely.
So are you an only child? Like, how was your childhood growing? I know you said that you're in a family of singers. Like, what kind of childhood did you have growing up?
Well, it's just me and my sister. I'm the oldest. And she sings as well. And she writes a lot of poetry. She writes a lot too. And I'm trying to motivate her to get her book that's in her out. But it's just me and my sister, and we had a really good childhood. My parents are retired police officers. My mom, she's a doctor. She got her doctorate. We pretty much had a good childhood, growing up. We traveled a lot, did a lot. They kept us busy. So my aunt would always say, y'all are so spoiled, but we worked. My mom, they didn't give us everything, but they tried to make us, comfortable and happy, and, try to live a good life. So, so my sister doesn't have any kids. And so it's just me with all the children. So she has a host of nieces and nephews. But we pretty much had a good childhood.
I thought I was going to end up being like the rich auntie, but I end up being the one with all the kids. So.
Right.
So where did your passion for the elderly come from? Like, how did you, realize that that was something that you really wanted to focus on in an area that you wanted to help in?
I started out taking care of my grandmother. No, I'm sorry. I started taking care of my grandfather. Um, and he was sick, and we actually lived in Cleveland, well, just where my parents live now. And my grandfather got sick, and I would go over all the time and take care of him, and trying to nurture him. And when he actually passed away on my birthday
Oh.
years ago, so that took a toll on me. And then my mom's mom, my grandmother, I started taking care of her. And so I actually signed up with the agency so I could purposely take care of her, because the family was trying to take care of her. My mother has 4 brothers, 4 sisters. It's 8 of them. And so everybody was trying to take turns taking care of her. So I ended up I'm sorry, I take that back. I was pregnant with my oldest daughter, and sitting at my aunt's house, I was like, what am I going to do? I was watching a commercial about medical assistants. And I said, you know what? I'm going back to school. And I called them. I signed up, went to school, pregnant and all, had her graduated, and went into doing home health. And then that led me into taking care of my grandparents. And it just kind of flourished from there.
Yeah, we love our seniors here. We just did an event over the holidays where we gave them it was snacks for the seniors. So we gave them baskets with socks and little snacks.
Yes.
And we're doing something for Valentine's Day. We just feel like a lot of them get left behind,
And
whether it's their family passing away or just, people living their lives. So I don't want to say it's intentional, but you start living your life, you start having your family, you forget,
right.
or
You forget.
Maybe your grandma may want to go to Walgreens, but you want to just go because she's looking slow. She just wants to get out the house and be with you. So we just try to, put programs in place that can, just let them know that we know that you're here. We love you. We appreciate you. We want to get the knowledge that you have so we can pass it on down to the next generation.
Absolutely. And I say I call my seniors my babies because that's what they are. And they just want somebody to talk to, companionship. I've worked in nursing homes, hospitals, assisted livings, and you'd be surprised at the stories that I've heard, them say or talk about their families where their kids won't come visit them. It's sad, and a lot of them are about taking their parents' money and giving them what they want, and so it's just heartbreaking, and I've had so many of my caregivers family, well, the people that I take care of, I've had their families say, oh my gosh, where have you been? Because I would go above and beyond. I treat them like they're my own parents, and I've worked in nursing homes where I've asked some of the caregivers that I work with, would you do that to your parent? You're changing a diaper. You don't change the diaper and not wipe them. Would you do that to your mother? Would you do that to your father? Right. So I just, like I said, I developed that passion taking care of my own grandparents. And that I made it a point to take care of everybody like they're my own, parents or grandparents,
And do you run your businesses, or is that all that you do? Or are you still working like a 9 to 5, or are you just running like your own?
It's my own. I was working. I'm actually contracted with an agency. It's an adult daycare, and I contract with her transporting her clients to and from their homes to her business. And then I have my own contracts with other people, and then just some people that word of mouth that call me and say, well, I got your card from such and such, and can you come and pick me up, or can you take me here, or things like that. But I basically do that on a daily basis.
Was there anything that you didn't expect or that you weren't prepared for when you decided to go into business for yourself?
The work, putting it together, like getting the certifications and the licenses and all that stuff, but the driving, I don't like to drive, so the fact that I picked the career in driving and transporting, but I love it because it's the seniors. It didn't matter, the drive. It doesn't bother me anymore. Like this morning I had to take a client way to Livingston, and you had to get up at 5 a.m. But it was worth it, and these are the same clients that repeatedly call me for transportation, and you develop that relationship with them and they call you back. you know.
Yeah, I can totally relate. Like I'm an introvert. Some would say I'm an ambivert now because I'm, stepping out of my shell a little bit, but I do it for the community. Like even I've been doing this podcast probably for a year and a half now. I have like almost 200 shows. And
Wow.
before every show, I'm like, breathe, calm down, calm
Right.
down. Because it's not really, something that I want to do. I feel like I have to do it. I feel like we need to highlight entrepreneurs. We need to
Yes.
talk about some important issues, especially with social media. Everything is so fake.
Yes.
You're posing in front of cars that's not yours. You're doing
Right.
people out here that are genuine, that are really,
Out there doing
building,
something and making a
from the
difference.
ground up, and you can't see them because you're worried about this guy with a Lamborghini that's not even
Right.
his.
Exactly.
So
I agree.
yeah, like it's so much fake news everywhere.
And it is, and you don't know what to believe. And so, and then
Yeah.
you try not to post too much because then you have a lot of stalkers and haters out there. And,
Yeah.
and you learn as, when I started, promoting my book and the song and you get people that, oh, I'm so happy for you. And then you get the ones that don't respond at all, that used to
Mhm.
respond, and it's
Mhm.
just like, okay, well, when I wasn't doing nothing, you're about me. But now that I'm doing something, so it's just crazy.
A lot of times with that, you have to reach a certain status, I think, in their mind for you to for them to feel like they need to follow you.
Right.
But speaking of that, let's talk about these awards that you're out here winning, that you're doing in real life, not the fake stuff.
Right. Well, actually, it kind of came onto me suddenly. My cousin, her name is Trina Green Powers, and she has her own. It's called TNS Productions and Promotions. She actually promotes up and coming artists, singers.
Mhm.
And so when she found out about me writing the book and recording my first single, which goes with the book, she
Mhm.
was just in awe. She was like, I've never heard anybody writing a book and putting a song with it. And I wanted to do something different because I do sing. And me being an author it just came about, but I've always been a singer. And
Mhm.
so I went to a singing competition. Well, it was actually a audition to sing with, I think it was Kathy Taylor, one of the singers, gospel singers, gospel artists. And so Oscar McGraw, which is also with the City of Houston councilman, his name is Michael Kobosh. He's well-known city councilman who wanted to give me this award when they heard about what I was doing. So it was an honor. I was shocked. I was like, okay, I just got on the scenes and here I go getting an award. So,
Right. Congratulations.
so yeah, it was awesome.
So I want to talk a little bit about just entrepreneurship in general. Can you give us some tips, like any productivity hacks, like with you're doing a couple of different things, and then you still have to be a mom to your son. So how do you stay productive? Any tips or tricks or software that you use?
I've always been organized. I always like to stay organized. My pet peeve is I write everything down. I probably have sticky notes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to keep a log of everything and
Mm-hmm.
write down what I have to do. I have calendars everywhere for daily things that I do. I have a calendar for my clients. I have a calendar for my son for his school events.
Mm-hmm.
So just try to stay organized. Every day, write down what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I stay organized. And I always go every morning when I get up, I go to my log. Every morning I get up, I go to my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
What do I have to do this day? What do I have to do this day? And I try to keep. Sometimes you try to keep a calendar in my phone, but my calendars, I love paper, so
Me
I write
too.
everything down on paper.
Yeah, I write everything down. um, so what has been the best compliment that you've received and the biggest lesson that you've learned?
The biggest compliment is that I've gotten is how do you, like you said, how do you manage to do all of this and still be a mom?
Mm-hmm.
And how are you still standing after losing two of your kids' fathers and still manage to keep a smile on your face?
Mm-hmm.
And you're so beautiful, and how do you keep your weight down and all this other stuff? I'm always running, I'm always moving around. and I try to stay healthy as possible. But the biggest compliment I got from my mother this past Friday, when I did my book signing, I'm so proud of you, which my mother has always been proud of me, but she was just like, I'm extra proud of you, because in spite of everything that you went through, you're still standing, you're still going, you're still moving, you're still inspiring other women, not just women, but men too, to keep moving, keep going, don't stop. Um, and so I just try to keep going.
Yeah,
So
because everybody doesn't do that. Some people become bitter.
right.
And they don't want to inspire anybody. They're, down on themselves. They get all depressed and they don't want to do anything. So that is admirable. So what's the biggest lesson that you learned? I don't want to, sometimes I'll say, what's your biggest failure? But it's all lessons learned.
The biggest lesson I've learned is distractions. My pastor preached about this Sunday. God has a plan for all of us. And sometimes we put our plans on the back burner for other things. And so the biggest thing that I've learned in this is that don't let distractions get in the way of your dreams and your goals. And I'm learning that, sometimes you just have to say no. Sometimes you have to say, I'm sorry, I can't do that right now. I'm sorry, I can't come over. I'm sorry, we can't go here. And sometimes people can't accept change. And so I'm learning that, my biggest thing is sorry, can't do it. So I'm learning how to say no instead of yes.
Yeah, you gotta choose you. Like you said, it's about me right now.
And I choose peace. That's where I'm at right now. I choose peace. So
if you had a billboard that could sum up your life, what would it say?
I'm sorry, say it again.
If you had a billboard that summed up your life, what would the billboard say?
It would say, live your best and blessed, happy life. It would say, keep moving, don't stop.
Yeah.
Live your best, blessed, happy life and keep moving, don't stop.
So tell us the name of your book, how they can get the book, how they can get your music to go with the book. Are you selling it together, the book and the songs, the album?
Well, they'll be separate. Actually, the music will be streaming on YouTube, Spotify, some other streaming entities. I'm actually working on getting that out there as we speak. Zay Studios, who actually recorded my song for me, he's awesome. He's working with me to get that done. The book is called After This, and the name of the song is called Overcome. Okay. So I kind of cornered them together. After this, you can overcome.
I like
that's kind of what motivated me to get that done. And the books are still being printed and in production as we speak, but they will be on Amazon, Kindle, and all the other distributors once the book is printed and out.
Okay. Well, make sure you give me an update so I can update everybody so we can purchase the book. It was a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you follow her on Instagram _official Lady T and on Facebook, Tamisha Crowley.
And can I give a shout out to, yes, Miss LaShawn Shelton. I cannot forget her. She is my creative coach. And without her, this book, would not be what it is. So thanks to her.
And she's the reason that I have a podcast. So I'll give her a shout out for that because I wanted to do it, but I was nervous and she helped me.
She is definitely a motivator.
Almost 200 shows later. So definitely give her a shout out if you're looking for financial coaching.
Yes.
If you need some motivation. What else does she do? She does so many things.
She does.
PR
too.
Yeah, life insurance. So make sure you give her you contact her.
Absolutely.
All right.